And look at here. This is from that silly movie with Ernest. From Ernest Goes on Vacation. That guy, Jim Varney, where he plays this guy, Dr. Otto, that's disrupting the world's currency, which we know is electricity. It's not money. And here was the riddle that would save the world. And he said nobody has a chance of figuring this out. It says when the money is scrambled, that would be power. To the very last cent, riot and hatred soon will commence, when all the world's commerce will be put in a bind from the evil that lurks where the sun never shines. All this is Saturnian stuff. It is I, Dr. Otto von Schnick, there's your Nazism. But who's Dr. Otto? You will upon it while your magnetic cache. Cache, the word cache means a box. So it's a magnetic box. Which would be what? What is a magnetic box? Well, look under the hood of your car. It's a battery. Is squandered. It is he who had an eye and could not see. Saturn. It is he who served bouillabaisse. That's just part of the movie. Which is fish, stew. The fish is 3. Okay? When he was she. There's your androgyny, your positive and your negative. It is he who gambled with brains and a gun. It is he who had all and yet had none. Saturn eats up the energy, but yet can create none. It just keeps gobbling up the Earth's energy. And this is the interesting part. And to stop this horrible twisted trick, just exchange the poles of Old St. Nick. So the pole of Old St. Nick is the North Pole. That means you have to flip it and make the South Pole the positive. And it says, and if this doesn't work to save the day, put another quarter in and try another play. A quarter is that graph I showed you that's got pi in it, right? The pie chart that I showed you with energy. Put another quarter in it and try another play. A quarter. But here's the thing. It says switch the poles of Old St. Nick. Well, that means that if the South Pole is the negative and the positive is the north, that means you have to switch the poles, which means you would have a positive Earth, or Earth is normally negative with batteries. And it's interesting because when I was looking, that means you have to have a positive Earth, which is, they don't do that anymore. They used to do it, but they don't anymore. The physical properties of batteries make positive ground a better choice for larger battery in power plant systems. Okay, positive ground. That's kind of like an oxymoron. That's like saying a positive negative, because the south is the negative on the battery and the positive is always the top. But you're flipping them, just like he said over here. Exchange the poles of Old St. Nick. So you're making the negative the positive here. Okay? It says just peel open any battery and you will see that. This is why a telephone system, which is DC, is powered by, uses 48-volt batteries. This is why some older car batteries are positive ground. Positive ground. However, Western thinking influence of positive being good and negative being bad, and thus negative should be ground. See, we flipped it. We made negative the evil. This is bizarre. This isn't electricity. Negative the evil. So he said good being, positive being good and negative being bad, and thus negative should be ground, as in heaven and hell. Well, why? Okay. We have switched it to having negative ground. The primary reason that negative ground is not an issue today is due to better insulation through the use of plastic as the container for battery, but it's not the correct way. So what are they saying here? They're saying that the negative is really the positive, and the positive is really the negative. And what have they taught us here our entire lives? That the positive is the good and the negative is the evil. And so now let's look at this. Now maybe this takes on a new understanding. No good deed goes unpunished. The reason it goes unpunished is because it's flipped. The system's flipped. In the book of Isaiah in the Bible, it says we live in a world that's upside down. So when they keep singing all you need is love, they're fucking with you because they're teaching you the wrong thing. It's not that you need hate. It's just that we're creating the wrong thing. It's all upside down. And this, switch the poles of old St. Nick. That means you have to switch. You would have to connect. What they're trying to do is connect the two poles. But what happens when you take a battery? You ever done that? Connect the two sides of a battery. What do you get? You get a big, massive spark. Something ain't right about all of this stuff. I'm telling you. Because I know this because this is one of my favorite movies, as dumb as it is. But this is all Saturnian. Who had an eye and couldn't see? That's Saturn. When he was a she, that's your androgyny. He who had all yet had none, that's Saturn. He's got all the power, yet he can't create any. And to stop this twisted trick, just switch the poles of old St. Nick. So you have to reverse the positive for the negative. The negative will then become the good, and the good will then become evil. I'm telling you, man, I'm right about this. I just can't put it to you guys in the way that I understand it. I'm right about this stuff. I know I'm right about it. And why would this guy's using the word heaven and hell, talking about electricity. And I didn't get this from any fucking occultic anything. It's actually written this way. A cache means box. Because I went and looked it up. It's Latin. So this is a magnetic box, which is a freaking battery. As in a cache box. It's an energy magnetic box. Positive ground. Usually on your battery, you'll look at your car battery. The black wire goes to ground. And so Saturn is the black ball. Right? When you're blackballed, you're the bad guy. Saturn is the black ball. So all of our positive energy, what we consider positive, is not going anywhere. This is the trick of the whole thing. And maybe, in a very weird and fucked up way, the reason this place is this way is, how can I explain it without sounding bad? The guys that do these really bad things to humanity, if this is an electrical system, then the only way to offset it is you would have to do bad things to make them good. In other words, it's a necessary evil, because you have to do it to offset this thing. I get this. I just don't know how to explain it to you guys the right way. And it's a fucked up way to do things, but I'm pretty sure that's how things were working here. The book of Isaiah says, we live in a world that's upside down and backwards. If the poles are flipped, that means when you think you're doing good, you're really doing bad. And when you do bad, you're really doing good. This is all fucked up. You have to switch, to stop it, you have to switch the poles of old St. Nick. If people could just understand what I'm trying to say here. And what did the Jews say? They're going to try and connect the earth and the sky together again? That to me sounds like you're going to get a big-ass fucking explosion is what it sounds like to me.